So we've had 2 people come by and see the IGO today, even before it's ready. So it's time to get cracking on it. Okay, all loaded up. So we're on to get the little Hyundai now. Ade and I looked over this again, we still can't work out why it's grade. The little i10 got me back beautifully, no problems whatsoever. The IGO bits are done. I want to carry on staying late and get cracking with, I mean, you don't mind so much when it's these light evenings, and get the i10 done, because the sooner I get these cars up for sale, the sooner I get the money in the bank and flip those spaces. So same process as the IGO really. You got 10mm bolts along the top here, 10mm bolts along the bottom. I forget what holds in the wheel arches there, but there'll be some clips in the wheel arches there. Get the bumper off, take as much of the trim as we safely can, and then get the orbital sander on, get this flaky paint off, get it set for paint. Off i10. Good news, it looks like someone's in the comments to screw all this trim on rather than make it those, oh, hang fire. Got a few of those standard plastic clips here. We've got a few rivets as well. It's going to make life a lot easier to take this trim off, so I am going to take the time to do it. So let's get cracking. So we have a fully deconstructed i10 bumper. Well, I haven't taken the number plate off yet, but every other bit of trim's off it. And now we can see we've got some quite serious cracks going right the way through here. And right the way through here. So we've got to get these repaired. So first thing we're going to do is give the area a clean. And then what we're going to do is get the soldering iron and melt the plastic back together a bit. And then I've got some special resiny glue stuff to put on the back of it that'll firm it right up. So first, like I say, clean it, and then let's get it sort of sticking together with the soldering iron first. First, actually, I think we're gonna use the hot stapler to get it all holding in position first. If you haven't seen one of these before, basically you hold it down, heats up the metal pin, you push it into the plastic about halfway through the plastic, twist it, let go, hold for a few seconds till the plastic cools again, it'll hold it in place. I'll need 2 hands to do this, but I'll show you the result after. So I've gone along and plastic stapled them all, and basically what you do is you just, once you've done it, you just rock the legs back and forth and snap them off. And that's held the crack together nicely, but that isn't enough really to stop it from breaking. So like I say, I'm going to go along and rough up the surface. I'm going to take my soldering iron and run it along this gap here and score it all up so it's nice and rough, and spread my goo over it so it's got something to grab to hold it together nicely. Both sides we got the soldering iron, melted the edges together, roughed it all up, gave it blast with a bit of 80 grit sandpaper as well, and then use this Top Fix Innertech 2-part adhesive over the top. Yeah, this just got sold to me by a guy who popped by the garage. I used it on the course the other day. I think it's pretty good stuff, but we shall see. So I'm letting that cure off, then we're going to flip it over and sand the outside of the bumper. But that now, if I flex that, none of those breaks are flexing at all. Obviously this side was split right the way through, right in half, wasn't it? But no, we're solid now. Down, I put some plastic filler in the areas that I did the crack repair on, because I grooved them out on the front edge as well. It's had a coating now of plastic primer, because a lot of the areas we've gone through to the bare plastic on it due to that poor spray job before. I was really hoping this was going to be a case of keying it up and go for it, but clearly not. So we've got 1K paint today. In hindsight, I should have gone 2K really with this damage and so forth. It'd be nice to have something a bit, something that chemically hardens quicker, allow me to crack on a bit quicker. But as it's a metallic, you do have to take your time a bit with it. So I was a bit wary of 2K that my can might harden up too quickly. I don't know. Comment below, how long do those cans actually stay usable for once you've mixed them? Now, this is, I don't think it's going to be one of my best jobs in terms of there's just so much damage to this bumper, and I've had to obviously manipulate it and plastic weld it and so forth. Excuse me. I don't think it's going to be perfect, but it's going to be a hell of a lot better, and it will pass the kind of inspection you expect from the average person, I would have thought. Colour match wise, we're going to be going panel to panel, so again, I don't expect to get exactly the same light metallic blue out of it, but again, this is going to be probably a £2,300 car, so you've got to weigh up how much time it really merits doing it. And again, this is the kind of the car where I'm better off selling it cheap, not being perfect, than getting it absolutely perfect. If I got a painter to do this bumper and put a couple £100 into it and put that on top of the car would sit around longer, and people wouldn't necessarily appreciate it at this price point. So you've got to be realistic about what's worth doing. So give me 10 minutes for that plastic primer to flash off. Then we're going to give it a blast full of filler high build primer. It's going to need it pretty much all over the whole bumper by the looks of it. And then we'll get into the colour, and then we're going to have to lacquer as well on this, because obviously being a metallic, it's a 2-stage. So yeah, hope to get that done before it gets dark tonight, not like last night. And then I'll have had major work sort of for the cars done, and it'll just be a case of cleaning it up and getting them all up for sale. And then I might have a little breather for a minute or two maybe, but I doubt it, because I've got to go buy more cars again, haven't I? As always, dust coat first. If you go lagging it on now, it'll peel off. So we've had the plastic primer on, and now we're giving it a very light dusting of the filler primer, and I want this to be tacky and uneven and so forth, so that I can make sure that when I put the next coats on, they've got something to really grab to. I'm using white filler primer this time, by the way, rather than grey, because we're painting that light blue, aren't we? Light metallic-y blue. We're going to need a lot of coats to cover a grey. A white's going to make it pop more. So if you're using certain colours, you're better off using a white primer than a grey primer. What was it I did? Oh, I've already forgot. What was it I did last night? Oh yes, I did the panels yesterday, didn't I? That were in black primer with the white paint. Now, if that hadn't been 2K and I hadn't made sure I had lots of paint available to me, I'd have probably used a white primer on that panel first to save myself a lot of the white paint. But as I knew I'd ordered plenty of paint for that one. This one, you know, I think there's more chance, being an old panel, of maybe getting paint reactions, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be a bit cautious in laying the paint down, make sure I've got some left over, some spare for it, which is another reason I ordered 1K, in case I need to redo it again. I didn't want it all to go off. So we're fuller primed up now. Just wait for that to tack off for a bit before we start adding the colour coats. I'd lay the colour coats on. What you'll notice is that it's almost full coverage in these areas here, sorry. Here, around here. Basically all the tight nooks and crannies. I would, I've still got a crack there left, unfortunately, but it's too late now. The reason for that is, being a metallic, I want to try and spray all in one direction on the final coat, and I don't want to have to be going in here like this, as I've sprayed across this section here. These flat sections, I want to do the flat sections in kind of one go. So I've got in all the nooks and crannies and given them almost full coverage now, so I don't have to come back to them later on. And idea being, like I say, I can go across in one go. I've got 2 cans, so again, I want to use 1 can for the entire final coat, just in case there's a slight variation in colour between the 2 cans. I have to say, at the moment, it looks more silver than blue. It's not looking very blue at the moment. So that might change a little bit when the lacquer goes on it, or again, we've got quite a lot of the white showing through at the moment, so I'll have to see what it looks like on the final coat. Yeah, at this point I am wishing I had 2K cans, because I'm having to wait sort of 10 to 15 minutes between each coat to do another, whereas obviously if this was 2K, I'd be doing it a lot quicker. So I am a convert to that, by the way, guys, but I did go out and get myself a good mask with good filtration, and obviously have lots of airflow coming through at the same time. So we've got all our colour coats on, time for the lacquer. Same score, light dust coat first, then we will blast over it. Like I said, I'm not 100% happy with where I've had to fix some of the big cracks. slightly uneven surface in some of those areas. But again, I've got to bear in mind, like I say, £2,000 car that had a front end that looked completely destroyed before, and this is going to look a hell of a lot better. So yeah, dust coat of lacquer, and then we'll get some nice wet coats on. It's still cloudy, it's just clearing at the moment. I'm going to leave it there, as I always say, come back in the morning and see what it looks like. I'm hoping I just need to give it a little bit of a flat, yeah, just sort of level out a little bit of the lacquer, depending on how it looks finished in the morning. Well, I won't flat it in the morning because with the 1K it takes a lot longer before you want to start doing that to it. So I'd leave it over the weekend to bake off before I do anything like that. But we'll see. I mean, really time-wise, I'm hoping I don't have to do that. But I think just the way the 1K is, it's very hard to get a completely wet, level surface with lacquer unless you're doing a very small area. Big area like this is a bit harder. But yeah, for the moment, just leave it. We'll see how it looks in the morning. So I got all the trim back in the i10 bumper, put that back on the car again, and started cleaning her up. And lo and behold, halfway through the clean up, a lady turned up and said, "I've been following you on Facebook, looking at the cars you've been selling. I really want something small, cheap to run. Oh, I like the look of this." We went for a little test drive in it. This is while it was still hanging inside, by the way. Went for a little test drive in it. She fell in love and she's bought it. 2395. As I said, I was going to do it. So I've now given it a good clean up inside. Still got some tyre shine and bits and bobs like that. Put the brush over all the fabrics, get all that dirt out, and she looks really good. Obviously the colour match isn't bang on with the front bumper, but it's not outrageously bad for a car of this age and this cost. It certainly looks a hell of a lot better than it did with that all that damage to it before. And I fully expected, being a metallic, to have a few problems, but it looks a bit worse on camera than it does in real life. Actually, on camera it looks a lot darker. In real life it looks, I think if you come down here you might be able to see a bit better that it's actually fairly close. So, but to be fair, if I go around the back on a factory bumper, it's slightly darker than the body as well. So, but yeah, again, you have to recognise what's worth doing and what's not worth doing on a car this age. I mean, we could have blended into the front wings, could have blended into the bonnet, all those kind of things to try and mask that it's been repainted, but she never said anything about it, and I think it's plenty good enough for a £2,395 car. Anyway, so sold, but then someone rocked up and bought the Rio. Had loads of messages on the Rio actually. I put it up at $19.95. I know I said I was going to do $14.95, but I checked the market. There's loads of 100,000 mile ones that are tatty with only partial MOTs going for $14.95. Mine's got a brand new ticket on. It's only done 67,000 miles on, and it's pretty much immaculate by that cigarette burn in the seat. Other than that, it's immaculate. I had loads of messages on it. I had people wanting to try and sort of hold it and all sorts of stuff, but the first person that came down and tried it bought it. A lovely young lady. I agreed $18.95 with her in the end because we couldn't find anything that confirmed the cam belt had been done, and I said, well, you know, I'll give you £100 off contribution towards the getting that done when you want to get it done. I also had to put warranty wise on it because she's going back up to Birmingham. She's only down here for a little while with her family. She's going up to Birmingham, so I put a warranty wise on it. Not that it's going to cover an awful lot on a car this age, but it just gives her a breakdown cover and a few other bits and bobs that might help her in case she gets stuck. So another 2 super quick flips on 2 cheap little cars. Yeah, that paint from back here actually doesn't look so bad at all. Yeah, 2, I mean obviously she's bought it so it can't be that bad. But yeah, 2 super quick flips again. Again, an i10 does it. They do go out the door super quick. As soon as anyone drives one, they're great little cars. But the Rio was a brilliant car as well, and I stole that Rio really, the condition it's in. So that sort of sub £2,000, well not sub 2 because that's 2395, but sub £3,000 market, going really, really well. Still haven't got the iGot for sale yet, although I've done that, obviously all that paint work on it. I now need to do the wheels, and then I can photograph that, get that for sale. Still going to photograph the i10 and put it up for sale, because otherwise it looks like I didn't have stock, and I think it helps to show the fast turnover as well. Makes people jump a bit quicker. Nothing on the Corsa yet, 3995, well below Auto Trader's book for a car of that miles and that age, but we don't have to rush with that one so much. But the Dacia, sorry mate, you're costing me money now. Got about 5 grand tied up, and you've got it out for 5,795, which is again well below Auto Trader for, well, fairly below Auto Trader. It's a great price, I think, for a car of this miles. Brand new MOT we just stuck on it. All we needed was to clear out the washer jets. 40,000 miles. It's got all the toys. 2018, 5,795, yeah, but it's not shifting, so I'm gonna have to do something to move that quickly, because as we can see, it doesn't make sense to have that sitting around when stuff like this moving quickly. But I need to get shopping now. I did think I'd get these two finished off, get the iGo finished off, have a little break, maybe get onto my MGB for a bit, but now I need to go and source more stock, which inevitably means doing more bits of work on it. The KA, the ECU company do say there is a fault with the ECU. I think there's a fault with the ECU now. It's gone off for further testing. The customer's still borrowing my little Fiat 500, and they're being really good about it. Trick here, keep them informed. Nothing worse than the garage that doesn't let you know what's going on. So I might go over the top. I kind of inform them daily, which might be OTT, but at least they know I'm doing something. I've not forgotten about it. I'm keeping them informed. They're not wondering, oh, I haven't heard anything from the garage, what's going on. So I tend to keep people over informed. I think that it causes you less hassle. People don't get stressed out with you. So, but now the deal on that car, like I say, I sold that Punto super cheap, quick deny, and that other i10 super quick, but they're only really going to cover the cost of doing the warranty work on this one. But them's the way it plays out sometimes, guys. And profit wise on these, we'll run through the numbers specifically. I think after paying, if you weren't paying VAT, you'd be about 1,100 on this one, and if you weren't paying VAT, sorry, you'd be about 1,300 on this one. If you weren't paying VAT, you'd be about £1,300 on this one, maybe 1,200 on this one. Obviously I have to pay VAT, so I'm about 900 on this one, I think, and I'll be about 900 on this one. So, but for the amount of time put into them, I mean, the Kia needed next to nothing. So if we said worst case scenario, I've got a day in each of them, but as we know with stuff like that, it doesn't always work out that way. So, you know, just be aware of that. But with the i10s, you can't go far wrong. Your worst case scenario, that is going to have a bad chain, and you're going to have to do a chain on it, but as a general rule, they're okay. And I did say in my top 10, I think in my top 5 flips, I said the i10, and I'll say it again, they just sell so easily, especially in a nice colour like this. Anyway, let's crack on and get the iGo finished. Right guys, so we just dealt with the sale of the Hyundai i10 and the Kia Rio. I told you I had some more bids in, and I did, and I've come back to my computer and it looks like I've had some wins, so we'll have a quick look. They're all from BCA. They're all sort of cheapies again, quick turnover cheapies. What we've won is a Fiat Grand Punto 1.4 with 79,000 miles on 2010. I think that had an MOT till November, so I'm going to have to put an MOT on that one. Won it for £500. Hyundai i20 1.2 Classic 3-door, 108,000 miles. That one I think had an MOT through till March next year, so I wasn't planning an MOT in that one. I do have a lady who's super keen on this already. She missed out on the Rio, wanted something around the 2k mark. So the Punto I think we're going to go 1995. This one I think will go 1995. The Punto may well have to be cheaper to sell quickly. The Hyundais don't as a general rule. But yeah, 1995 I think for the i20 1.2. She's super keen, so I'm probably going to drive that one back. I'm going to go up with Adrian, my super reliable transport guy. I go up with him, get him to transport the Punto back. I'll drive the i20 back. By the time I get back, I'll know if it's any good or not. She wants it like straight away if she can get it, so we need to do a safety check, get it validated, get a service done on it, get it out to her if it's all good when I drive back. So we'll do that. Won that £500 as well. The two of them were done on one invoice, so with the fees it was £1,434, so just over 700 quid a car on those two. And then the third one I won is another i10. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, eh guys? The i10s have been doing well for me, been selling super quick. This is a 58 plate with 105,000 miles on it. Again, I think it had a long MOT on this one, so I wasn't planning on an MOT. We sold that 2010 with 125 on for $1,495 super quickly, didn't we? So I think I'll probably do this $1,495 as well. Maybe chance I'm a little bit higher because that did move so quickly. With fees, I'm into that for $572. By the time it's transported, because I'll have to send a single transport for that, we'll be into it for about $640, something like that, I'd have said. Yeah, sorry, no, it'd be more than that. It'd be at 700 quid by the time it's transported. So hopefully I haven't had to do too much to that. All of these cars are probably something to make 500 quid on each one after the VAT and everything else. So again, it's not going to be high profits, but it's going to be quick turnover based on what we've seen so far. This is what's selling at the moment. So I've got the more expensive stuff that can sit there for a bit, and and we'll see how it goes with it. These ones, they'll go out with 1 month, 1,000 mile warranties on the major components. We'll give them a valet, we'll give them a safety check, give them a quick service if they haven't had one, proof of having one recently, get them out the door at a keen price, quick turnover, and get some more in. It's like I've said to you before, it's like running a restaurant. I've got a certain amount of covers and I need to keep turning them over within the same evening as fast as I can. That's the score with this type of stuff. So what we'll do is we'll do a video picking up the Punto and the i20. Like I say, I'll probably drive the i20 back, trade of the Punto. We'll go up with Adrian. I'll put a link below for Adrian's business, by the way. If you're in North Devon and you need something transporting, he is the guy to go to. A&K Van Services. I'll find a link to his Facebook page. Super reliable geezer, top bloke. Not going to say it to his face. I'll say it to thousands of people on the video, but I won't say it to his face. But in this game, having someone reliable for the transport of the vehicles, if you're not doing it yourself, is such a key thing. Because the faster I can get these cars, the faster I can get that money back in the bank. So yeah, we'll get video done on that, and then when the i10 gets delivered, we'll do a walk around of that one as well. But now I'm going to crack on and get that little Igo finished. That's the last one to get finished now. Remember this guy, the guy with the little Ford KA we did for him, where he came back and he'd had a new clutch fitted to it off his own back, and had the air conditioning regassed off his own back again without saying a word to me after only having the car for a month, and was like, he's the brilliant one that I did the video. You won't believe what this customer did. The clutch was okay. He just said he wanted to know it had a new clutch in it with a higher, with the best biting point, and decided to get a clutch fitted, and said, I decided to do that. The clutch was working when I took the car, so it's no problem at all. And such a great attitude from him. Anyway, I have had to do work for him since. The fan was contacting with the shrouding, so I put a new fan in it. But since then, he's getting rough running very first thing in the morning. He's getting rough running. Car runs fine the rest of the time, just very first thing in the morning, a bit of rough running. He's asked if I can take a look at it. So what we're going to do today is going to take the throttle body off, give that a clean. I'm going to take the spark plugs, put some new spark plugs in it for him, and I'm going to swap out the coil pack for him as well. I'm going to do the obvious stuff first, see what difference that makes. If not, it could be an ECU issue, but I'm hoping it just needs a good clean out in the, in the sort of firing line type of stuff. So yes, I am looking after him. I'm not expecting him to do everything himself. He's still got a great attitude, not putting any real pressure on me to do it, but let's see if we can get it sorted for him. The car's been sitting for a couple of hours while I've been doing that, and he says it's doing it when it's cold. I know it's a warm day today, so I don't know if he means cold as in weather-wise or not, but see how it starts. Starts on the button there, and the thing we can really do is give it back to him now and get him to test it under the circumstances that he's finding it running lumpy. But as I said, we've gone through, clean the injector rail out, put connector cleaner on that, changed new spark plugs out. I've swapped out for a good coil. I know I had a good coil pack with leads, so I swapped out for the coil pack and the leads as well. I've cleaned the ECU plugs. I've cleaned all the plugs going to the injector rail and going to the airflow sensors. So hopefully it's something as simple as that. But I think I've done as much as I can on that side of things. If it's not that, then it might be the dreaded ECU. But hopefully we solved it. To make sure the customer realises the value of my work, I always make sure I send them an invoice out for the total cost I'd have charged had I been doing that normally. I think for this one it was about 150 quid. And then set it to 0 so that they see the value I'm giving them by the time I'm working on a car. Otherwise, I don't think they realise what you're doing has a value if you don't show them. So yeah, so send them off an invoice, it says 150, and then it says full breakdown on what's been done, and underneath it says discount £150 under warranty. So you can see exactly what I've done, but you can also see what the value of that is. So he's maybe a little bit more appreciative. Not that this guy isn't appreciative, but a little bit more appreciative of the work that's gone in. A bit of a late one, guys. It's 10 o'clock. I'm cracking on because I've got those other new cars coming in, and I need this Igo up for sale, so I just need to cram more into the day. I don't want those new cars coming and still having these cars ready to go. So it's Wednesday tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get the Yaris in from that lady and fit the new catalytic converter for her. But Pete's going to do that so I can crack on and finish this Igo and get it up for sale. And then I've got Thursday, I'm going to pick up the new car, so I want to get straight on them. So what I've been doing is, you notice all the wheels are off. Obviously I did the, it's a quick reminder, I painted that wing and that bumper that's now got some grubby marks on it now. I painted that wing and that bumper. That's annoying me a little bit. I'm going to have to deal with that a bit again. So that's all done. So all the paintwork's done. It went in and had its MOT. I've just got a bulb that's playing up. I need to sort on it to get through the MOT. So I've painted these tonight so I can stick them back on tomorrow morning. I didn't think, you know the score with wheels. I didn't see the point in recording my whole process again, but just in case any interest, these had deep gouges in them, like really deep gouges in them. So I started off with 80 grit sandpaper on the airline and zipped over them and just took it right back. Then I did a 240 and a 400, and then I had to scotch the inside of all that with a scotch pad, the inside of all the spokes, so that they were they could take the paint. Then I used an etch primer because I'd gone down to bare metal, so I needed to use an etch primer. I then used a filler primer to fill in the scratches and give myself a smooth surface. I then gave it a dust coat of the silver, which is a direct gloss one. I had the guys mix me up a silver, the guys at Marlowe's, shout out to them again, Marlowe's Paint Supply. They mixed me up a direct gloss silver, so they just mixed silver with lacquer so I could lay it all in one go again. And you see there's a little bit of trash there, but it's and there's still some very slight gouges there. Some of them were so deep that I couldn't get them all out completely without spending hours on it. So I didn't want to spend that much time doing them. I just wanted to make them look a hell of a lot better. And yeah, this direct gloss silver they gave me has got a nice finish to it. It's 2K. So it's nice and hard wearing. I'm going to leave these tonight and then refit them in the morning. And then tomorrow I'm going to give it the full valet. I like to get ahead because you just don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Tomorrow I could say, well, okay, I'll paint them tomorrow while Pete's doing the Yaris. But then if something comes up, I get behind again. So it's just worth putting an extra couple of hours. You know, time is money. The more cars I can turn over in a month, the better. So sometimes it's worth doing it. I don't do this all the time. I know my last few videos have been staying late. I don't do that all the time. I do obviously value my family time, but sometimes you just need to throw those extra hours in to get ahead. And the nice thing about working for yourself is I can decide on another day when I've got nothing on, I'll take the day out and we'll go and do something. So it's all about the balance, isn't it? So yeah, we'll let these harden off, get them back on the car. And then this little Igo will be a nice one because it was super clean inside and the rest of the bodywork's really nice condition. So just sticking those fresh wheels on is really going to lift it. So it's going to have a brand new MOT. It's going to have those freshly painted wheels. I like the factory one's down a little bit. Not as much as mine, but it is down a little bit. Okay. Anyway, it's going to drifting off. It will have the fresh wheels on it. We'll give it a buff up. It's going to have a fresh service. It's going to have a brand new MOT and it's a really nice spec. It's got the sat nav, which all you guys pointed out to me on that. It's got a little chrome finisher spotlights on it. It's going to be a really nice one. And I think the mileage was reasonable, wasn't it? It was like 70-odd thousand miles. So this should go quickly. While I was here, someone actually came wandering around looking at the cars because they had a recommendation from somebody else. So we had a little quick chat on that as well. And they're also waiting for the other cars to come into stock. So yeah, hopefully we get those other new cars in and get them flipped super quick as well. Anyway, stop waffling, let's go home. Catch you later. Right, following morning, we got the Igo off the ramp. I put the wheels on. I do need to go around and detape the valves and clean a bit of overspray off the tyres, but looks a lot tidier. So today we're going to get on and clean the Igo right up and get it photographed and get it up for sale properly. Good news is I had a call from Cliff this morning on his little red Ford KA. Really, I was out and about picking up the Yaris. We've got the Yaris in, having that catalytic converter fitted for that lady. so annoying because the car drives absolutely perfectly. It's just a stupid light on a dashboard, isn't it? I got Pete and he's doing the cat for me while I get on with the Yaris. But yeah, Pete rang. Pete took the call. We rang while I was out picking up the Yaris off the lady, clipped it with the red Ford KA, and said started up absolutely perfectly today, no bad running at all, any of those things. So he was really pleased, and I'm really pleased that I've managed to resolve that for him because he's such a nice chap. I'll never know whether it was the spark plugs, I'll never know whether it was cleaning out the injectors, I'll never know whether it was using contact cleaner on the plugs, or whether it was a new coil pack, because I changed all those things, didn't I? So I'll never know for sure what it was, but he's happy, I'm happy, and that's the best scenario. And it didn't cost me an awful lot because I had the coil packs. It was just the cost of spark plugs and the spray, so I think I'm in about 40-50 quid for fixing that for him. And hopefully that's another happy customer, another recommendation. But let's get on and get this IGO cleaned up, because this needs to be sold. On that trip from BCA with Adrian, my temper's come down a little bit because my IGO's sold. I came back and someone's popped back and bought the IGO, so that went up last night. It's already sold. I had it for 2,995. I had an advisory for a tyre on it. They said, can I have it for 2,900? I said, okay, no problem. You can have the have that for getting the tyre sorted out. She grabbed me when I was midway through the Ford KA, which I'm having a nightmare with. So the new ECU's in. I drove the car home last night. It drives fine, but it's got its flashing engine management light on it now. Plugged it in, it comes up with boost calibration. No turbo on this car. Someone suggested it might be the MAF sensor, so I've changed the MAF sensor out. No difference. Guys, we don't have any video of the i10, and we have got the Punto on the back, but I haven't videoed the Punto yet because, to be honest, I'm bloody livid and I can't be focusing on that at the moment.